Now we join Jon Snow and Zainab Badawi at the studios of ITN for tonight's Channel 4 News. The time, 7 o'clock.
A penny off income tax and a budget that signals no early election. Good evening. The Chancellor has cut public expenditure by £3 billion and cut tax revenues by £3 billion. But public sector borrowing will overshoot by £5 billion on the forecast he made only last summer. Tonight, interest rate cuts are looking almost inevitable as growth slows. We report the detail of a budget that leaves the option for a real electioneering package next November. Plus, the big dig beneath the Treasury, what Europe's biggest construction site tells us about the true state of the economy. How the government is turning to private finance to undercut the old ways of buying new hospital wards and re-equipped classrooms. And Mr. Clark called it a budget for Middle England. But is it? We're in the most middle constituency England has to offer, Meriden, to gauge how the punters view it there.
And the other news headlines tonight. Hopes are rising for a new Anglo-Irish summit to break the impasse in the Northern Ireland peace process as the Prime Minister and his Irish counterpart, John Bruton, speak on the telephone for nearly an hour. A single mother who had to leave her job on the London Underground because of a change in her work shift pattern wins her claim for sex discrimination at an industrial tribunal. And as the winner of the Turner Prize for Modern Art is announced tonight, an oil painting by Turner himself has been rediscovered thanks to a piece of forensic evidence.
In his speech, the Chancellor, Kenneth Clarke, said that the budget showed that good economics was also good politics. But the Labour leader, Tony Blair, said it failed to tackle the real problems of the economy. Among the main measures the Chancellor announced this afternoon were a cut in the basic rate of taxation by 1 penny to 24p in the pound, a widening of the 20p tax band by £700. Also an extension of the 40% band by £1,200. On tax-free income, the personal allowance is up £240. That's more than inflation. And the married couple's allowance is up by £70. Duties on petrol and diesel will rise by 3.5p a litre from tonight, and the tax on super unleaded petrol will go up by a further 4p next May. The cost of a tax disc for cars will rise by £5 to £140. The duty on beer and wine remains unchanged, whilst the duty on spirits will be reduced by 4% from 6 o'clock, equal to 27p off a bottle of whisky. And a packet of 20 cigarettes will now cost 15p more. Overall, the Chancellor forecasts that this year's public sector borrowing requirement will now hit £29 billion. That is £5 billion more than expected in the summer. It's predicted to fall next year, partly helped by public spending cuts of more than £3 billion to a new total of just over £26 billion. Our political editor, Eleanor Goodman, reports now on the Chancellor's tax-cutting package and how it went down at Westminster.
Rarely has a party been investing so much politically in the contents of one budget, but the Chancellor has evidently decided that neither the voters nor the city would be convinced by the kind